7 finishes and a great card. We're going to go over the full post-reaction and also recap for UFC Vegas 118, Gabriel Bonfim versus Belal Muhammad. Now, a lot of exciting things happen on this card, and I'm very excited to go over it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get right into this card. We started off this card with a brutal knockout. Ketlen Souza gets it done in the first round. As you can see here, it was a very short fight, only 1 minute and 34 seconds into the fight. She was able to land a brutal head kick where she dropped Carnelossi bad, and Carnelossi wasn't able to recover, and the ref had to pull Ketlen Souza off. In this fight, I did not expect it to go like that. I really thought that Ketlen was going to get it done in the later rounds or maybe get it done by decision. But I mean, holy shit, Ketlen Souza went in there and completely dominated this girl, knocked her out in the first round and made easy work of her. After the fight, she did call out Jessica Andrade, and I'm actually very intrigued in that matchup. I want to see if they make that happen. Next up, we had Chavez versus Dubin. In this fight, as you can see here, Chavez was able to get it done by a decision. Now, when it went to the scorecards, I was very confused because the judges were actually split on this fight, with one judge actually giving it to Dubin. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it was a clear win for Chavez as she was able to outpoint her, grab her back, get more control time. As you can see, though, the output on the strikes were kind of the same and also significant strikes as well and the takedown. So pretty much even all around when it comes down to stats. But overall, if you watch that fight, I think it was pretty easy to side with Chavez in the decision. Now, here are the scorecards. 2 judges gave 29-28 to Chavez, with Tony Weeks giving it to Dubin. He was the only one to give Dubin the first round. It's probably because he's trying to hit or something like that, because I don't see how she won the first round. But hey, that's neither here or there. We did pick Chavez for this fight, and she did cash for us as well. I mean, but Chavez's BJJ is very questionable. It looked like shit out there. I taught my daughter how to do a rear naked choke, and she knows how to do it better than her. And my daughter is fucking 6 years old. So some very questionable grappling on the side of Chavez. Very questionable IQ on the side of Dubin. But overall, both low-level fighters, and I don't see either one of them getting far in the UFC. Chavez has the build for it, but not the skills. Hopefully she ends up going somewhere else that could teach her something. Because, I mean, the rear naked choke was there 1,000 times, but she just was not using proper technique. We had Mr. Monkey Boy, Booty Boy, Twerk Boy get his ass choked out by Durenson Brito. Here in this fight, I did like Brito and also the finish only, and he was able to relatively make it easy out there. Levitt went for takedown after takedown, and unfortunately, he was unsuccessful with that. Brito was able to take advantage. Jordan Levin goes in for one more shot to where Brito grabs the neck and he doesn't let go. At first, Jordan Levitt was getting control against the cage and holding Brito there, but honestly, he was just exhausting himself out because he wasn't able to get Brito down. All Brito needed was for Levitt to take one bad shot, and then there he was able to take advantage and sink in a nasty ninja choke. Right when I seen Levitt shoot that takedown, I already knew his neck was super exposed, and I was like, yep, it's over. Sure enough, Brito grabs the neck very easy and gets it done in the first round. We might as well name Cachoeira Catch a Beating because she caught a damn beating from a low-level fighter like Chelsea Chandler. Chelsea Chandler shown levels on the ground and also even stunned Cachoeira on the feet. Cachoeira looked like extreme dog shit. She was only able to land 9 shots. She shot one takedown and she got it, but that was enough for Chandler to get domination on the ground and sink in a nasty armbar. Chandler makes easy work of Cachoeira. Cachoeira catches a beating and gets brutally finished in the first round, and she honestly made Chandler look like a -500 in this fight. Overall, though, although I did say some things about Chelsea Chandler, she did look very good out there. Very impressive performance, and I'm excited to see what's next. And next up, we had another total domination. Edgar Chairez completely dismantles Bruno Silva, knocks him down twice, and gets a nasty choke. He was able to utilize the distance perfectly, not allow Silva to get his game going, and he honestly showed him that he's at a different level than Bruno Silva. With that performance, Edgar Chairez definitely 100% deserves to be in the rankings. He's shown to be durable, very skilled on the ground and on the feet, and might be one of the most underestimated fighters here in the flyweight division. His only losses so far in the UFC are to Joshua Van and to Susura Taira as well. Of course, he lost to Carpenter and Contender, but he's never been finished, so he's shown his durability and he's shown actually to be a dangerous finisher. I'm excited to see Chairez back in the rankings here and see what they give to him next. I don't know what they do with Bruno Silva. Next up, it was Marcus McGee versus John Yanis, and actually John Yanis put up a very good fight. Marcus McGee was just a step ahead in every single round pretty much. He just showed to be the more technical and well-rounded fighter. John Yanis, though, he did have some moments and he ended up landing some good power shots on Marcus McGee. I think overall, respect to John Giannis for stepping into this fight on short notice. So far in the UFC, he only has had one win. But honestly, I do think that John Giannis is UFC level and is going to be a problem in this division later on. This was just a big step up in competition, and all respect for John Giannis for stepping up. Even though he knew coming into this fight, he had the disadvantages. Now, all around, Marcus McGee did end up winning on all three judges' scorecards. Two judges gave him all 3 rounds, and one judge actually gave the second round to John Giannis. Which, I mean, I can definitely understand why, because in the second round, he did land some vicious shots. And even in a post-fight interview, McGee said he actually did get hurt by those shots. So John Giannis came into this fight, showed a lot of grit, showed a lot of will. He just didn't have enough skill. And Marcus McGee was able to get it done on the scorecards by all 3 judges. Pretty much dominance from Marcus McGee, but John Giannis did show toughness, and also he wasn't out of the fight at all. Quick work for Alessandro Costa as he's able to get the first round knockout over Matt Schnell. Both guys came into this fight and put out a similar output, with Matt Schnell only throwing 2 less strikes than Costa, but Costa was clearly the more efficient striker, as he threw 23 shots and only missed 4. A lot of those strikes did come from the ground and pound, where Matt Schnell didn't answer those shots at all. He was wrestling the time when Costa was landing all of those shots. He was trying to grab the leg of Costa, but he was taking tons and tons of unanswered shots. So the ref had to pull Costa off of Matt Schnell because he wasn't fighting out of that position. Well, at least he was trying, but he was very unsuccessful. And here we had Costa for the first or second round, so I was very confident that he was going to get it done. I mean, Matt Schnell is completely washed. After his fight with Cody Durden, he did say that he had a very good relationship with Mick Maynard. So he was able to get another UFC contract. And the only reason why he retired is because he didn't want to get cut from the UFC. So I can't say that the UFC cuts Matt Schnell. But I mean, I don't know what they do with him next. They put him in there as another sacrificial lamb. At this point, I think he should really actually retire. Or the UFC should cut him, because getting finished 10 times is not healthy. As expected, Iwo Baranuski makes easy work of Junior Tafa as he gets it done in the first round, and it only took 6 strikes. Now, Iwo didn't chin Tafa, but he did land a heavy leg kick to where it pretty much snapped Tafa's leg and Tafa couldn't take anymore. After the leg kick, Junior Tafa crumbles down to the ground, and Iwo gets on top and follows up with some ground and pound to where the ref had to pull him off, and he gets an easy finish in the first round. I did think here that Iwo was going to display his judo skills, because Tafa was going to be at least a little bit more competitive on the feet. But I mean, this guy didn't even land one clean shot on Iwo Baranuski. And even though he took this fight on short notice, I mean, I don't know what they do with him next. Now, as far as Iwo, I'm very excited to see what's next for him. I think that he does deserve to be in the rankings at light heavyweight. I'm excited to see if they still build him and give him somebody else to get rid of quick, or if they give him a great spot next against a good fighter. I do think, though, when he fights levels like this, you know, guys at the lower level of the UFC, he's going to finish them every time in the first round. But this is the UFC. Eventually, we will see the cardio. We will see a tough test. And I'm excited to see how Iwo does against that. I think that even against a tough test, he's a good enough, well-rounded fighter to get it done and be very successful in this division. Iwo is one of the best prospects coming out of Dana White Contender Series last season. In the UFC, he continues to make his mark, and I think he's going to go very far in this division. Bryce Mitchell absolutely dominates Santiago Luna in this fight. I did have Santiago Luna as my underdog of the week. I did think that he was going to be the more aggressive and powerful guy in this fight, but Bryce Mitchell absolutely dominated him for all 3 rounds. Eventually, at the end of the round, Bryce Mitchell is able to get a nasty submission and be the first to finish Santiago Luna. Throughout the fight, there was just a lot of top control, a lot of grappling, nothing really happening as far as damage goes for Bryce Mitchell. But with his heavy style grappling and his ability to stay heavy on top, he was able to eventually tire out Santiago Luna and get him to tap. With only about 8 seconds left, Bryce Mitchell locks in a nasty arm triangle choke. All respects to Luna for coming to this fight on short notice with only 9 days to get in the proper camp. But there's just no excuses at all. He went in there with very low IQ. Bryce Mitchell was a stronger, more smarter fighter in that cage, and he showed his veteran experience. That had to be one of the best Bryce Mitchell performances I've seen in a while, honestly. And after the fight, Bryce Mitchell actually says he's willing to step in for Sugar Sean or Zahabi if one of them pull out of the White House card. I wonder what they give Bryce next, but here he just showed complete dominance. Here are the scorecards. Bryce Mitchell was up on all three judges' scorecards 10-9, so absolutely no chance of Luna winning in the third round unless he got a finish. Bryce Mitchell actually was the one in the third round to get the finish, to where he ended up just showing complete dominance for all 3 rounds. Shout out to Bryce Mitchell. Who do you think is his next opponent? Tom Nolan pulls off the upset and gets himself into the rankings of the lightweight division. Here against Ziam, he came out very aggressive and showed to not at all be scared of any threats coming from Ziam. He just came out like a bulldozer, and Ziam did not like the pressure of Tom Nolan, especially coming from a guy that's bigger than him in size, which he isn't used to in this division. You can clearly see that Ziam did struggle with Tom Nolan and his aggressive style in the first and second round. In the third round, he did have some moments where he was able to pull that round off, but it wasn't enough because Tom Nolan did enough in the first and second to get it done on all 3 judges' scorecards. Now, that was a very impressive performance by Tom Nolan. Now he's a ranked opponent and the top 15 fighter in the lightweight division. He showed his striking and his grappling in this fight and was shown to be very slippery on the ground. So Tom Nolan pulls off one of the biggest upsets on the card, defeating Faraz Ziam. Everyone doubted him, even myself, but he came out and he proved everybody completely wrong and was able to cash as a plus 250 underdog, and that seemed that he ruined a lot of people's parlays. Throughout the week, I decided to not bet on Ziam because I worried about the length and also the size of Tom Nolan. And it actually shown throughout the fight to be a problem. Let's see what they do with both of these fighters next. Here are the scorecards. All 3 judges give the first 2 to Tom Nolan, with all 3 judges giving the last one to Faraz Ziam. So clearly here, all 3 judges were on the same page. Tom Nolan clearly got the first 2, with the third going to Ziam. Even with Ziam's late success, it wasn't enough to get it done. For the co-main event, we had Brendan Allen versus Edmund Shabazian. In this fight, a lot of people thought that Brendan Allen, even myself, we thought that Brendan Allen was going to utilize his grappling here. But it ended up being a striking fight. And with it even being in the realm of Edmund Shabazian, where he would have the most success, Brendan Allen was able to be the one to get it done on the feet, showing that he didn't even need his grappling to get it done against a guy like Edmund Shabazian. Edmund Shabazian is very good at, defeating the lowest level at the UFC, but once he gets his step up in competition, the fear of his power goes down, and he hesitates to throw the hands as much as he should. Now, here in this fight, as you can see, the strikes were actually pretty even. Brendan Allen did put out a little bit more output, as you can see, but he just clearly was a step ahead of Edmund Shabazian in this fight. Now, Mr. Sal over here was the only guy to give 1 round to Edmund Shabazian. He did give him the second round. As you can see on all other 3 judges' cards, that they gave it 10-9 completely to Brendan Allen, pitching a complete shutout here in this fight. The only thing about this fight for Brendan Allen is that it doesn't really move a needle for him at all. It doesn't really put him up in the rankings. He's number 4 and he fought Edmund Shabazian, who isn't even ranked in this division. But all respect for him for still taking the fight and coming in here and displaying his dominance. He shows that he has enough to be, of course, a ranked contender in this division. Brendan Allen is starting to get things rolling again, and I wonder who they give him next. Definitely next up for Edmund, though, they'll give him an unranked opponent to build up his confidence again, I think. But a very tough spot for him again, as he was very close to getting himself into the rankings in a very good spot. But Brendan Allen's awkwardness and pace wasn't allowing Edmund Shabazian to get his game going and let off the shots that he wanted to let off to land enough damage. All right, y'all, we made it to the main event of the evening. It's Belal Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim. As always, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And man, Belal Muhammad got completely dominated by Gabriel Bonfim. Everybody came into this fight questioning the cardio of Bonfim, but Bonfim wins all 5 rounds and gets a unanimous decision versus Belal Muhammad. This is a fight that raises the stock of Gabriel Bonfim tremendously because a lot of people were counting him out because of that W loss, and people were saying that he wouldn't get far in this division because of his cardio. But in this fight, he's able to completely dominate a former champ who's known for pushing his pace and having one of the best cardios in this division. Belal was very unsuccessful with getting his wrestling going and applying the pressure as he usually wants to. Bonfim was just a more tactical striker, and with Bonfim's takedown defense being defeating to Belal, Gabriel Bonfim was basically able to do whatever he wanted to do with Belal Muhammad. and just dominate all rounds on all three judges' scorecards. Now, that's 3 losses in a row for Belal Muhammad, so I honestly don't know what the UFC does with him next. I know that he does have that RAF wrestling match coming against Ben Askren, which is very interesting. So I'm not sure if he stays in the UFC or if he moves on to different things. Gabriel Bonfim has now entered his name into the rankings against a very tough opponent in Belal Muhammad. With this win, it puts him at the top of the division, and there's some intriguing matchups up there. Who do y'all think that Bonfim has to fight next? As you can see here, even Sal couldn't even give Belal Muhammad a round. Just shows the complete dominance of Gabriel Bonfim in this fight. A lot of people expected it to be Belal Muhammad by decision or Bonfim by finish. But Bonfim surprises a lot of people and actually gets it done by a 5-round fight by decision. Now, Belal in this fight, all respect to him because at the age of almost 38, he showed to still be very durable as he went against a guy that's like 10 years younger than him who was very dangerous in getting some finishes. But the toughness and the grit wasn't enough to get a win against Gabriel Bonfim. Do you guys think that Belal Muhammad continues his career with the UFC? And who do you guys think is Gabriel Bonfim's next opponent? Thank y'all for pulling up on me. As always, I appreciate my YouTube family. Next week, we have UFC Freedom 250. I'm excited to break that card down as that's going to be a historical card being on the White House lawn. And I want to know from you guys, who are your picks for next week's card? I'm going to work on making that video for y'all now. But make sure to drop a like, a comment, and a sub. And let's go.